Okay, this is saving Angela. We're going to try and get this mower where it's running again. And if you're watching this and you stick with me, chances are we're going to get it running together. I bought this from a guy for $30, and he said it used to run, now it doesn't run. He tried working on it, and he can't get it going. The situation with these, this is called a quantum engine by Briggs and Stratton, and there is fuel in the tank, and it is not priming. The way to check that is to get you a little flashlight and shine it right in there, and you will see a brass emulsion tube coming up to the carburetor. And when you press this primer, you should see fuel jet out of there. Go squirt, like a little squirt gun. Freak, freak, each time you push it. Some are stronger than others. Some is just a little dribble, and others it just like a squirt gun. It goes boop, boop, boop. And but you got to have some raw fuel going in this mower, and that's what priming is. You're putting raw fuel into the combustion chamber, because when the engine's cold, it needs that. It's not going to work if you don't put raw fuel in there. Now, if you've got an automatic choke quantum, that's a whole different situation. That there's a choke plate in the front that is going to cut off the airflow here in the front of the carburetor, so that when you pull the cord with the choke in place, the air is not going to come across easily, and it's going to create a vacuum that's going to pull the fuel up through that emulsion tube. But without a choke plate here in the front, with an automatic self-priming carburetor, you've got to prime it, and that's what this rubber bulb is here. Well, it's not working, and that happens all the time with these quantum carburetors. And so what you have to do is modify this plate right here, because they warp, and you have to compensate for that. And so what we're going to take a look at here is getting this plate off and seeing what he did to it, and why it's not priming. So you got to take these 3, 5, 6 inch screws out. 2 of them go into the carburetor, and 1 is just a hanger. It just hangs on the metal here. So let's see, maybe there's not even a gasket on here. Okay, there is a piece of a gasket, so it's missing most of it. And the carburetor looks pretty funky and pretty old. It's not leaking yet. Let me see. I mean, it's dirty, but I'm not seeing drips of fuel. So this carburetor may be okay. But we've got to get it to prime. So let's work on that. So I'm going to take this old gasket off of here and show you what I'm looking at here. This is the old gasket here. Just a piece of it. See, right there is all that's left. And I'm going to try to use the carburetor that's on there, because I'm not fond of just throwing things away that work. It may work. And you see this little channel? It runs this way and then curves up. That's where these things don't seal. And I have a method to address that, and I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times on quantum mowers. But first, let me make sure the primer bulb is working, and I do that either by squirting a little soapy water there, or spitting on it, or just holding it up to my ear. And I think I hear some air, but let me spit on it and see if that works. Hang on a second. Okay, now I don't know if you can see that watch now. See how it blows that out of there? So it's working. This primer bulb was fine. So let me dry my horrible spit out of there. I'm not fancy. I do things that work. And remember, this bulb doesn't push fuel. Pulsajet carburetors push fuel, and that's why there's no hole in the bulb. This has a hole in it, and that's you need to cover that with your thumb or finger when you push to drive the air through. You can't push it off to the side. You know, it's got to be right in the center. All right. So what this requires now is some metal duct tape. So let me get that. And you can get this at any, Home Depot or Lowe's. It's metal duct tape like you'd put on your central air conditioning duct work under your house, the big, foot diameter duct work that if you want to patch it or seal it, you use this metal duct tape. Well, this happens to be ideal for sealing this plate, and then you put a gasket on there. Actually, you put two, and that usually does the trick. It's never failed me, I'll put it that way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut about a 1/4 inch strip. Boop, that's all you need. So let's do that, because that's going to lay on top of that groove on that carburetor. Okay, so there's my 1/4 inch strip of metallic duct tape, and I've got to remove the adhesive back. And let me make sure this is even on the camera here. Yeah, okay, looks like it's running the wheel, so it's going to be right up in here. And we're going to, I'm going to get these gloves off because this is some delicate work getting this adhesive backing to separate. So I'm going to get my fingernail and separate the paper from the metallic tape itself. There's not a lot of adhesive right there, but there is there. Okay. And let me get rid of this little piece here because I didn't feel much adhesive there. All right, so this is going to be enough to address this situation. So I'm going to take this little piece now, and I'm going to cut it in half because I need to make a turn with it. Okay, so there is one half, the other half is still on the scissors. Now I'm going to lay this piece here right where the air comes out, and I don't want to block the airflow here, so it's going to be right on the edge of that plate and touching that ridge that is on the outside of that channel. Okay, so that's laid on the position. Let me show you on the camera. Okay, you see how it's right there where the air comes out, but it's not pushed down into that channel because I need the air to travel there. Now I'm going to get the remaining piece. I'm going to make the turn with it. But I'm going to be very careful not to cover the last little, oops, I dropped my stuff. Now, lucky for me, it landed right side up. Okay, so now I'm going to make the turn, and I'm going to leave just a little bitty end right there so the air will come out. You don't want to block it, okay? So I've got a little too much tape here, so I'm going to kind of curve it like that. There it goes again. Hang on. I got lucky again. It landed adhesive side up. Okay. And I don't need that much on that side. So now I'm going to make the turn and go this way with it, making sure that I don't block the end of that hole. Okay, so there we go. So you can see the outline of the channel. I think I may have dropped it too many times. Yeah, see, it's not adhering. So let me cut another little piece. I dropped it too many times on the ground. I'm going to cut another little 1/4 inch strip off my duct tape here. And I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to peel the backing off of it. And I'm going to try and make that turn. Make sure it's adhering, you know, because you don't want it to be where it's not sticky enough to hold on. I don't have much of a fingernail left to do anything with. Oh, that may be a start right there. That's separating. Let me get a box cutter. That'll probably help. See if I can get this box cutter to help me start this. I've got to separate that backing. Not easy. You got to be patient. I hope you're being patient with me and watching this video. Okay, here we go. Got it separated. And now I'm going to peel the backing off. And this metallic tape is going to be great for what I'm doing here. I need it to adhere. And let's see, I'm going to trim a little bit off. Try not to drop it on the ground again. Okay, so I'm kind of shaping it where it'll be right up in there. Okay, now I've got it where it's not covering the little hole, but it is in place. Okay, you see that? So the little hole is that's where the air is gonna come out. Okay, so now I'm going to take 2 of the standard gaskets and put that on there. Let me get those. Where are you? Gonna find one. Okay, now here are the gaskets. I think that's right. Do I got the gaskets in here yet? There's some gaskets. I'm going to grab 2 of these. But the duct tape is in place, and that's what gonna mainly make the seal. So your little flat piece is gonna be on the flat bottom there. That's gonna be covering the channel. Okay, so I'm gonna put one on there and push it into place on these little pedestals on the end, and now I'm gonna do the other one. Okay, so they're in place now. And see, the duct tape, metallic duct tape's in place, but it's not blocking the airflow that's going to the manifold. All right, so let me grab the 2 screws I just took off the plate, the main ones that attach straight into the carburetor. I'll do the hanger last. I just want to get these started. Okay, so there we go. That one didn't come off, so I'm holding the gaskets in place with the 2 screws in. Now I'll slip this over. And bring this up. I should have taken that cover off, but I didn't. Let's see if I can get these sort of lined up here. Okay, yep. I think I've got it in place, maybe not. Get this one going. Try to get both these started. Okay, let's see if I got lucky and actually have them going in where they should. Okay, now since these warp, I'm not gonna torque it a lot, and I'm not gonna put that 3rd screw in up here on the right that doesn't go into the carburetor, because I want to make sure it's priming first. So I get my little flashlight down, I look in here, I push the bulb, and it's priming. Let me show you what I mean. And the secret, my friends, is that metallic duct tape, because I've put 3 gaskets on there, I've put 4 gaskets, I've put 5 gaskets sometimes, and still have it not primed because it's not sealing, but that duct tape works every time. So watch this. See that? I hope you saw it. Anyway, it's pumping fuel, raw fuel out. That's what you need.